going on, people? We're back. It's another episode of Tough Times 2, because other people are having tough times too. It's episode 5 here. I have comedian Dana Charitonchick. She's done comedy all over PA, all over the world. You know.
Oh yeah.
I say gigs. The world, you know, manifest things. You know. But it's great to have you here. Thanks for coming out.
Good to be here.
Yeah. It's great. Good to have you. What were we just talking about before this?
Reality TV.
Oh, yeah, reality TV. We'll use that as a cold open. We'll segue into that still. But if you could be on any reality TV show, what do you think?
Oh, I... Love is Blind.
Love is Blind? I've never even heard of this one. What is that?
It's on Netflix. And
okay, yeah, I love how Netflix is doing like a whole thing now.
They got everything.
Their own network now.
They got comedy. They got dating. Everything. So Love is Blind it puts a bunch of people... that are single, that are trying to meet somebody. Mm-hmm. And you're in these like little cubes and you can't see the person you're talking to. And you have to talk to a bunch of different people. And then if you pick the person and like you guys agree, you immediately are engaged.
Really?
And then you get to meet in person and you spend like 2 weeks to see if you're actually attracted to each other. And then you either get married at the end or you just say, no, I don't want to get married.
Wow. That sounds pretty entertaining. How many seasons they got of that? Just one?
The third one's coming out
pretty soon. They got 3
soon.
seasons? Wow, I got to pop into this. I got to check that out.
And they pick different cities. So, like, that way you're not like, oh, well, you live in a different city than me. Like, they pick cities. They pick people that are in that city so that, like, you can actually stay together. Like, they're genuinely trying to get people to stay together.
That's pretty interesting. If I could pick anyone, it would be Big Brother.
Yeah.
But it was funny that you mentioned that because, like, actually, it was funny that Big Brother has more successful marriages than The Bachelor.
Really?
Yeah, I thought that's like their brag. They brag about that. They're like, oh yeah, we're better than The Bachelor. We have more marriages successful on here, which is kind of crazy because it's like a lot of backstabbing and a lot of fakeness on the TV show.
Yeah.
But I don't know, and that's why I feel like I could be successful. I feel like I could scheme my way somehow to the top there. But I mean, like, I feel like that would be a relaxing one. But I also would feel like I would be able to do Survivor. Like, I always throw a video at each of them.
Yeah.
So, but the one that I applied on recently, Netflix is the Squid Game.
Really?
Yeah, they have this show called Netflix Squid Game: The Challenge.
Mm-hmm.
And they're doing like 450 something people. But I applied to be on it, and they like. I sent them a video. It was like a 30-second video of me, and then I had a couple of interviews with them, but they said they would call me, but I don't think they're gonna call me. No. Yeah, I don't think the interview went that well. So,
I wanted to do MTV's challenge.
Oh,
they used to do like
challenge.
Road Rules.
I actually checked that out one day after an episode of Big Brother. It was like the season end or something, and they were trying to like put me on another show, and I was checking that out. It seems like a pretty interesting show. Challenging for sure.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's like Big Brother because they make everybody live together. You don't get like cell phones or contact.
I like that.
Besides like having whatever phone they can actually record, but then they have physical challenges, puzzles, all this other stuff. So it's like, and then they like vote each other out. So it's like you have to try and win the games. You have to be somewhat physically able to do these like stupid challenges, like, and some of them are tough, like. Actually having to run up a mountain or something. Yeah. But then other ones are stupid, like, all right, who can sit on this block of ice for the longest?
That's hilarious. See, and I love, like, little challenges like that. And, like, that's why it's, like, it's kind of interesting to see. YouTube's got that whole kind of, like, YouTube's almost got that vibe now. Like, I don't know if you watch like any of these people. Like, I watch a few of them just because it's like I post YouTube videos, so you kind of got to be with the now on it. Like right now, I'm drinking the Prime, the new drink or whatever. It's like
I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, it's like the new Gatorade alternative. It's got way less sugar, so I feel like I'm like doing myself a healthy one by drinking it. But
so if they call you, you're like, I'm ready. I've been drinking.
Well, it's like it's a YouTuber's drink, so it's like I'm in the mind of a YouTuber. But like I watch some of their videos anyway. But like Mr. Beast, he kind of does those challenges where it's like put your hand on something and like just wait, and the last one to take their hand off wins it or stuff like that. And it's just like I always wonder if I would be able to have the mental toughness to like like if they put $1 million in a room and they're like last one to take their hand off this wins it. Do you think you could withstand everyone? It's tough to say because like I feel like my bladder is not like one to mess with. I feel like I don't know. I'm almost 30 now. It's just like it's just like I feel like I would have to go to the bathroom at some point within the first 2 hours, and that would just murder me.
I feel like I would immediately just try and start sabotaging everybody else.
That would be a good method.
Like I would just,
and that's why you might be good at Big Brother. Maybe
I would just try and make them laugh, or like make them uncomfortable, and
I'd
probably be like, method, "You're not allowed to do that."
So within the comedy realms and comedy stuff, what do you think is like the toughest time that you've had within the comedy? How long have you been doing comedy?
About maybe a year and a half.
A year and a half. What do you think the toughest thing you've seen throughout the landscape of the comedy community has been?
The toughest for me, or just in general? You think? Like something.
I guess for you, and then in
me,
general, maybe.
In general,
because I see a lot of the in general stuff. I mean, it's just. Like when you go to an open mic and the microphone doesn't work.
Right.
That's rough.
Any of those things that throw you off.
Yeah.
I think for me, I had for the first time where I was on stage and I genuinely forgot my jokes.
Oh, yeah.
Like for the first time ever. And it wasn't like, it was a little show or an open mic. It was a show in front of 100 some people. And I was just like,
oh my God.
Oh, this is the panic. This is the part that I was like, I can't be silent. I just have to keep talking and hope that after 30 seconds, which felt like 2 hours, it came back to me and I was able to finish my jokes, but the rest of my timing was off. And
man.
I got a couple more laughs, but that
I wake up in cold sweats thinking about stuff like that. I'm like,
yeah, I was like, if I didn't have other shows booked after that I had to go to, I probably would have just stopped. I was like, there's no way.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's definitely some of the worst feeling in the world. I mean, obviously you didn't pull your notes out or anything, or did you?
I didn't even have them.
Yeah.
I was like,
See,
I've done this stuff so many times. It was like my...
It's not an open mic there. You're doing a show. There's a real audience there. They may be paid to get there, right?
Yeah, they paid.
Yeah, holy shit.
Yep. It was like a competition, too. So that added pressure.
Oh, man. Yeah, you got to love that. That's the worst.
Added pressure, not my crowd, not my age demographic. The two oldest people had that won the competition both had all white hair, wrinkles. Not that they were funny, but my jokes about dating apps and whatever else, they were just like, this isn't relevant for us.
Do you think, so that brings me to my next question. Do you think it's tough for being a female comedian in the comedy scene?
Maybe in some ways. I feel at least with mics, if other comics don't know me, that there's a little bit of that
judginess
or I remember, especially when I first started out, before I was really friends with any comics, getting on stage and watching half the room walk out. Several times it was like, oh, she's up, we're gonna go take a smoke break, we're gonna go get another drink, and that was it sucked, but at the same time I was like, I'm gonna make them regret leaving the room. I gotta be so much funnier.
That's what's fun about the game, it's honestly, that's what keeps you coming back. It's because even on my end, my one of my most recent tough times was that I did Philly's Funniest this year, and I kind of try to do it every year, and I did it this year, and it was just I did a set that I've done before.
Yeah.
And I was just so robotic with it, and it was wild because halfway through the set, I was like, this guy in the front row is just not believing me right now. I saw it in his face, and I was like, this is not good.
Yeah.
I was like, this is not going to get me through to the next round. And it didn't.
So you just set yourself up. You're like,
yeah, and it was I bailed on myself halfway through the set. It was sad to see, and it was I should have never did that. And it was I learned from it. It was a good learning lesson. But it was just I bounced back, and it was I was right back the next week, and I was but I was also at that time too, early on, where it was just you'd go up at an open mic and half the room would just walk, or it would just be 2 a.m. and you'd be up and there'd be no one there anyway. Yeah, but. So what do you think the toughest is in general is? Maybe what do you see from do you see anybody else that's going through hardships, kind of not no one specific, but
I'm gonna name names. No,
yeah, right, yeah.
Let me give you the list.
I got a list right here of all of them now,
and all of their problems.
Yeah.
I think what I see is, I guess there's really two things. There's a lot of the people that are just starting out that are like, why am I not getting booked?
Oh my
and
God,
it's that, and
that's
I'm
a lot of that.
I'm like, I can't help you. Like, there's literally nothing I can do. I'm in the same boat that you are.
It's mainly, and like that's like what a lot of people forget too is like, yeah, you have your friends in comedy and whatnot, and like, yeah, you get opportunities through your friends, but I mean, like a lot of the time too, you have to think like it's just like it is a solo game kind of.
Yeah.
You know, like at a point, if one comic or somebody in the scene does rise up, or any of us rise up, it's just
they better
like,
take all of us with them.
Yeah, right. They better get a bus together.
It's like, do you remember when I clapped for you that time you were bombing? I fed you
like,
that
hey, man,
line. You gotta remember me.
You shot me a text and I threw you on the list whenever you wanted. You know, it's just.
You remember that open mic where there were only 2 people there? I let you do 10 minutes. What do you say?
Oh man, I do feel like a lot of my fun right now in the comedy community right now has been with hosting the mics. I have a lot of fun hosting the mics. Like, just like it seems like it's fun right now. Like I don't mind like hosting a mic, and I have a lot of fun with it. But I don't like being in the rut of hosting a ton of mics in a row.
Yeah,
because then you're
it's
just
draining.
like, yeah, it's very draining because you're like, you never know what you're gonna get at these open mics. I mean, like sometimes, like I prefer an open mic like Tuned Up Brewery. Like if you're hosting
Wednesdays
that,
in Spring City.
Yeah, if you're hosting that mic on Wednesdays, shout out to Jay Yoder. And if you're hosting that mic, it's just like it's usually 10 comics max. Yeah. It's never over 10 really.
Yeah.
And if it does get over 10, it gets a little ridiculous. But I mean, like, you know, you don't want to be there forever.
Well, that's why, like,
you know, I see mics with 30. And you're just like, imagine hosting that. That's a nightmare.
Well, that's why they like change hosts halfway through. They're like, your second half.
They always should.
At least the ones in the city I've gone to, they've been
it's very smart
1 to 2 hours in. They're like, all right, next host.
At least they know. Yeah, they know in the city. Out in the suburbs, I feel like they definitely don't know.
They're like, suck it up.
Yeah,
come up with more jokes.
Night mic, and you'll just be getting hammered with 30 comics.
Yeah, there's like, there's no cap. We just have to be out of here eventually.
The light too, yeah.
The running of the light.
It is nice though when like they do kind of have a team when you're running the open mic. Like I noticed it is a little difficult when you're trying to run the light, then you're trying to, you know, think of something clever to say in between the comics, then you got to remember the guy's name, then you got to remember the next guy's name, and then it's just like a lot.
Yeah.
And then you want to take pictures too. It's just like, it's good when they have
See,
neither do I. And like, I always forget. Yeah, I always forget because like I'm already doing too much. I'm like,
right.
And then I have 2 drinks in me already because like the drinks are free. You're like, man, like it's just.
You're trying to order a pizza. You're like in between comics. You're like, I didn't start the timer. Well, I guess I get an extra minute today.
Yeah. And then you're trying to eat and then time it. So and like some of these comics, they just I'm gonna give time back to the room. It's like I'm like halfway through a slice, man. Like my fingers are all like, you know, they got smuts all over them. Like, I
love when comics give time back to the room.
Like
they're doing everybody a favor. Like
especially when you're hosting a mic. Honestly, one of my most recently, wow, it was a mic. I don't even want to say which day of the week it was because to give it away. But anyway, I was at this mic recently, and the microphone had an issue.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, honestly, it was probably one of the worst moments I've ever had at an open mic ever. And the mic was having an issue, so comics opted to not use the microphone, and they were standing in front of the stage on the floor as everyone else, and they were trying to like do their sets without microphones. And I was like, oh, this is brutal, you know?
Yeah.
This is brutal. I was like, you know what? I'm going to change shit. I'm going to go up there, I'm going to grab that microphone and try to like rip the stage open again, you know? And I went up there and I grabbed the microphone, and the audio was so bad. It was just like really high and then really low, and then really high again, then really low. And then it cut out, and then it went high again, and like somebody in the crowd was just like, yo, don't use the microphone. It's too loud. And I just like was like, all right. And I just put the microphone back in the stand, and I just walked off stage, and I just walked directly out of the room, said nothing to nobody, and I just walked out, just got in my car, just started driving. Yeah, I drove home in silence, and I like texted Jay. I was like, that was a rough night, and he was like, I know, man. I'll give it a shot. He's like, I'm on my way to another room now. He's like, you should come. I was like, no, I don't know.
You're like, no, I just need to go like sit in the shower with my clothes on and
yep.
cry about this for a little bit.
Yeah, just a sad night. It was like, oh man, this is bad.
Yeah, the mic issues. There's no way to handle it because it's either you have to yell over it depending on the size of the room, or you just have to hope that if you don't move it at all, that you might get a set in. Yeah, and it was I don't know. I hope they figure it out, but I can't go there for like 2 weeks now because it was just like, you know. Like, you have that mental block?
Yeah, because like as I was walking off stage, the guy who yelled it, he was like trying to apologize, and I was just like, it's like, not right now, man.
Have you been heckled a lot? Or have you had like a really bad one?
My worst heckler was probably, I would say New York. I was like, I don't know. I mean, like, I've never really had a crazy heckler. Only like one time I did a show where I had a heckler, but like I kind of like smacked him up real quick and put him down. But the one in New York, it was kind of like same thing. I told a kind of an edgy joke. Won't even say the joke because there's no need. But
okay, so it was racist.
Yeah, it was edgy. But anyway,
abortion. Okay,
yeah, it was
it.
something like that. And it was this chick was in the crowd.
Yep.
She was just like, "Oh, we're doing this now," and I was just like, yeah, we are doing this, you know. And I just was just like, I don't know. I shut it down kind of quick, and then like, you know, it was an open mic, and there was like 30 people there. So I get off stage and I'm like thinking like, man, that was like kind of bullshit. I was like, that didn't go well, I don't think.
Yeah.
And like I was thinking it didn't go well, even though I thought that shit went well, because like I had told that set prior like 4 times that day, because I got 5 sets that day, and this was the 5th set. So it was like pretty punched up at this point.
Right.
It was like
you were good. You were feeling good.
It was.
You were feeling good, and you ended on a low note.
I walked into that room. I was like, "This is gonna be amazing. Like, this is gonna be great." And then like afterwards, I'm talking to some of the comics out there, and they were like, "Yeah, man, that was a great joke." And I was just like, "Really?" And they were like, "Yeah, man." And I was just like, they were like, "Don't let her bother you, man." She was like, "Oh, he's at these mics just doing this," and I was just like, "Oh, wow." I was like, "Okay." So then that's when I realized I was like, you know, every heckler, you know, maybe there's just people like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was just kind of like what I was telling you prior, you know, with the one chick who hunts down.
Drama.
Yeah, the drama.
Getting people kicked off of mics.
You notice a lot of, I noticed that like when I first started doing comedy, I was just like, I would notice a little bit of drama, but I was like, man, I would never want to like get involved with that, like in this community with the drama. And like
we're supposed to be like the most fun.
Yeah,
like,
we're supposed to be having a blast and like
stupid and fun, and it's like people are
blast.
getting like snippy and posting stuff on social media
Yeah,
about bookers.
So
it's like
crazy.
I'm not
I like. Meanwhile, I go to this one mic and I'm having a great time, and I guess like the guy who runs the room, he called me over. He's like, "Yo, man, check out this text I got over the weekend." And he got some text from some comedian saying, like, I'm annoyed that Ryan's getting opportunities that I should be getting. And I was just like, yeah, what opportunities is he talking about? I was like, you know.
The free 5 minutes that everybody else got on the list?
God forbid I'm doing like a guest spot somewhere. Like, leave me alone, you know? I was like, you know. But I mean, like, I don't know.
Yeah, we're supposed to be fun. It's
Yeah.
supposed to be fun. I understand, like, if somebody else sabotages you and you don't like that person, that's one thing. But like, can't we all just be stupid and have fun?
That's
like,
what I'm saying.
That
I've had that ideology from the start. I was like, I would love to get to a point where like maybe I don't know who it's gonna be, but like I'd like to see one person just rise up and kind of be like the leader of the comedy community and just kind of get us all together and just like I think we could all get to a point where we're shooting like pretty good sketches between like everyone in the Philly comedy community, where it's like an SNL type thing, but it's just like everyone in Philly, and we kind of cycle these comedians in and out, like give everyone kind of shot at these sketches. It's just like every week it's kind of different, you know?
Yeah.
It's like maybe we bring characters back, and it's just like, I don't know, people could kind of like build up a list of characters that they do and just kind of cycle everyone. It could be really good.
I like that you have the idea and you're like, I hope somebody else does that.
Yeah, it's just like it's a lot of shit for me. Yeah, it's like I got a lot of shit going on. I got a traffic light in my house right now. You know, I got to get rid of this traffic light first. You know,
are you legally allowed to have that?
It's interesting. Yeah, it's very interesting. It's
that wasn't a yes or a no.
Yeah, I know. It's just like I'm not sure. I would have to get in touch with my lawyer. I made it seem like I had a lawyer. I don't have a lawyer. Yeah,
he's on retainer. He's got to give him a.
It's anybody out there thinking about suing me, stay away.
No lawyer.
Yeah, no,
now's the time.
I have one.
No. Pretty sure he doesn't.
I'm gonna cut all the parts where we talked about me not having one, and we're gonna leave it in.
Just clip it together, and it's very.
It'll just be very choppy. And
you're like, I have a lawyer, and it doesn't even match with your mouth. It's just subtitled.
I'm actually gonna get your voice dubbed by dubbed by an English actor, yeah.
An English actor.
Actress, yeah.
Actress, okay. Yeah. No, it should just be like, you know, I can't even think of one. That's how I am today.
I have none.
But I was actually, back to the sketch stuff, I was talking with people last night because we were trying to get locations to be able to film
Really?
some sketches in.
It's
so
hilarious that you mentioned that.
We're working on it. I'm not the leader. I don't know who the leader is yet. We're actually going to do a challenge. We're going to do a physical challenge with all the comics.
Fun. I would love to see that. Honestly, there's always been like, I love that when a post like that pops up in the comedy community. I very rarely pay attention to the post in there, but like every now and then when you see one that comes in there, it's just like, hey, we should do like a comedy Olympics. I'm like, yo, I think I'm a little bit more physically, inclined than a lot of these comics. Like I think I could place pretty high. Like I would be like top 20 maybe, out of like how many are in there, but like there's like 3,000, I guess, but
maybe we don't need an Olympics. Maybe we need like a comic field day,
like
high school.
I would be all in on that.
Like 3-legged races, carrying a egg on a spoon. Like let's do.
The problem is
we can pick different teams.
Yeah.
Everything.
Oh yeah, colored teams and whatnot. It was just like the problem would be is like if anybody that would be organizing that would just have to not be a comic.
Yeah, we need somebody that actually has organizational skills.
Yeah, it's just and
time.
Yeah. And that's
or we could just do like city versus suburbs. Let's just go all out. We already...
there is a line there. There is a line there, and people don't talk about it, but it's there.
Yeah.
It's like you go out there, they're like, oh, look at these kids. They're from the suburbs. Like,
yeah, let's mug them. Let's take their wallet.
It's funny you were talking about the locations thing, because Dorian Vasquez, he's my next guest.
Okay.
And he's coming. Yeah, he's coming on. Then he's actually like a filmmaker and whatnot.
Oh.
Yeah, and he does comedy out in Philly, but he's a Philly comic. He's breaching the borders. He's trying to come out. I'm trying to breach the gap too.
Trying to build that bridge.
I'm trying to break that divide. I want us all to just be unified. I want us to be a whole.
Yeah.
I want us to be stronger than the New York comedy community scene, which is kind of
suck
tough.
It, New York.
Oh, look, I got a new match on Tinder. No, is that Yelp?
Oh, that's less exciting.
I know it is. It is. I mean, like a lot of the Tinder stuff nowadays, it's just like check out my Snapchat, and I'm like, why?
Oh yeah.
I'm like, why are we doing this?
I don't. Well, I'm off of them right now.
It's good.
I needed the break.
I'm like pretty much that direction too. I like kind of just glance at it every now and then to see who like float a few offers now and then. But like, I like trying to just make funny bios.
Yeah.
Like right now, my best bio right now is 3 lies.
3 lies.
Yeah, I just went 3 lies instead of like anything else. It was just like I went like I wrote Drake's album. I'm not funny, and I have a pool. It's just like people are like, yeah, this guy doesn't have a pool. That's
I did the
no value.
I did the like let me roast you.
Oh yeah,
on it, and
that's pretty good.
I had like a couple.
I can't imagine the madhouse of an inbox a woman's Tinder box looks like. I mean, it's got to be crazy, right?
I guess because I'm in my 30s, it's not that bad. The
Stop.
pool's a little smaller.
No, really?
So
I would imagine it's going to be
tons.
chaos. Like it's just crazy, creepy dudes coming in.
No, I really haven't.
You ever have any creepy experiences in the comedy scene?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's like pretty much unsaid. Like that was like a rhetorical question. I already knew. I already knew there's been like creepy experiences.
Well, I love it.
I've had creepy experiences. So it's like I can't imagine.
Yeah, it's like the suburb mics. It's like you're talking with like the bookers and everything. They're like giving all the other guys like handshakes and high fives, and they like go in for a hug and like kiss you on the cheek, and you're like, why?
Strange. It's so strange.
Why is that?
Yeah, that's pretty. That's
right.
Yeah.
No, nobody's ever kissed me on the cheek that I can remember, but I get hugged. They're huggers.
Yeah.
And I'm
see,
just
I never know what to do. See, in defense of the guys there, I never know what to do. Honestly, when you're trying to like greet a girl goodbye, like what do you do? Just a handshake?
Greet a girl goodbye?
I guess it's not greeting.
Goodbye?
Her. Yeah, it's like a goodbye, but it's just a handshake. Is the handshake the move?
I mean, in a post-COVID world, I think the fist bump
kind of
still works.
The fist bump is the best. I think the fist bump kind of just gets
because
it
like
it's like, hey, I'll see everybody later. You're gonna see everybody later, bump.
Yeah, we're gonna see each other tomorrow. I don't need to hug everybody that I'm gonna see tomorrow.
The hug thing is wild. There's a large amount of guy comics that look for the hug. They hunt it down.
Yes,
I see it, and I'm just like, oh, this is.
Yeah, I had one guy like put his arms out because he was like hugging all his friends. It was somebody I knew pretty well, and I was like next in line, and he looked at me, and I was like, nope. I was just like, we're not doing this. I was like, funny. I'm not opening that door. I'm not gonna have to hug every other guy before I leave. Like, just keep it moving.
Yeah, like why can't it just be like a normal like You
French
know?
kiss goodbye.
Yeah.
Just a
Hey.
typical.
See you later. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
No, it hasn't. I've been lucky. I haven't had too many creepy experiences with other comics. I would say most of the other comics have been really nice. I have been hit on a lot by audience, and in that, I actually got heckled by a guy who hit on me during my set.
Wow.
Because I had a joke about a pickup line. And I was like, oh, this guy gave me a pickup line. And he yells out, did it work? I was like, in the middle of my set, I was like, are you serious? He was, he was tall. So he had that going for him.
Did he try to talk to you afterwards?
No. By the end of the show, he was 3 sheets. He was gone.
Wow.
So he
Have
was.
you had that though? Where oh wow.
Yeah.
See, I've actually had that too.
That
same
a
couple
night,
times.
Another guy came up to me and he was like, "Why do you look sad?" And I was like, "That's your opener." I can cheer you up.
I can't imagine some of the openers these guys are throwing nowadays. I mean, not that I have the best.
Yeah.
openers
What's your
in the world.
go-to? How do you like to hit
I don't
on
have
women?
a lot of openers. Yeah, mine's just
Sup. Fist bump or handshake. That's what you're.
It usually starts with what they're wearing. Probably. It's just. Yeah.
That's.
I don't know.
An example?
I was just going off of my last one. That it was my last pickup line. I guess that's what I was going off.
You're
of.
is that?
I was at a bar. This chick was wearing a pickle costume, and I was just like, "What's the deal with the pickle?"
Well, that's different.
It was a very easy opener. See what I'm saying?
Right.
It's that's how my openers work. It's kind of
easy.
It's it would have to be it would have to be the moon is aligned with the sun, the stars, and it's just everything's got to be perfect for that to work.
Lighting.
Yeah, it's just I have to be the right amount of everything. 2 drinks in, maybe 2.5 drinks.
You got to be feeling good.
Can't be 3 drinks in. That's too much.
Yeah,
no. It's like the one time I had 3 drinks. It was a nightmare, and it was actually back when Mizba was single. Now he's engaged. But we were at the bar, and I was like, "Yo, man, I need a wingman. Can you come out with me?" Because you obviously need a wingman to operate. Usually, I mean, sometimes I do. Sometimes I don't, but
I don't think I've ever had a wingman.
You really don't need one as a girl.
Not me help, but I mean, I've never had a wingman hit on me for somebody else.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they've just been bold enough to come talk to me.
See, that's kind of what happened here. It was just I just needed a friend. It's a podium is just all right,
so
I'm gonna go out and try to
the
talk to these girls, and then
if
if it doesn't work, I can bounce back to my friend and just I'm chilling with people still.
Gotcha.
I'm not just there I just got rejected by 2 people. It's just now what? I'm just all sad and gloomy, and then waiting for somebody to come up and ask me why I'm sad.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it didn't work though. That was I want to make that clear. That was not a good opener because
it's
then
not a good opener.
Because then he followed it up with are you gonna make jokes about me? And I'm like,
oh my
no, I'm gonna talk about you on a podcast.
See, and it went bad for me is when I dropped the drink. And
on the pickle costume.
This was not the pickle costume girl. That one kind of went well. I got her number actually. I never followed up because I was I don't know if I really need to be talking to a girl that's been walking around in the pickle costume.
That was a deal breaker.
It kind of was. It was just it's a Friday night. It's not Halloween right now. It was the middle of September. I mean, it was just kind of
okay.
It was what's going on here? But so I dropped that drink and immediately and honestly, the conversation was going really well with the girl before, and I had found out things about her. I was like, "What do you do for a living?" She was like, "I'm a doctor." I was like, "Oh my god, this girl's way out of my league. This is crazy."
You're like, money.
Yeah, and then my brain was like, "Yeah, you gotta fuck this up somehow." And then it just the cup dropped and the cup shattered and it got not one girl's shoes destroyed, but all 3. It was all 3 of her friends, and the one girl that I was talking to didn't really care, but her one friend was like, "My shoes are destroyed," and I was like, "Oh man," I was like, "Well, it was nice meeting you," and then we just kind of just separated, and I was like, "Wow, I need a hiatus from the bar."
I don't think I've ever been hit on and actually had it work in a bar.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's kind of good. Yeah, I mean,
I don't think so. I don't think. I don't know.
It's just because guys aren't reading my book. You can pick up my book, Pick Up Lines by Ryan.
Yeah, comment on their pickle costume. If they're not wearing a pickle
Honestly,
costume,
yeah.
ask, how come you're not wearing a pickle costume?
Yeah.
That's going to be your new line.
That's literally, that's actually the new line. Yeah. I'm going to ride with
2
that.
options.
It's hey, so why are you in not a costume?
Yeah, if the stars align and they're in a pickle costume, you now have the go-to line to pick somebody up.
it was just
If it's a hot dog costume, you're fucked.
yeah. Honestly, it's just like you got to be dressed pretty weird for me to talk to you. So that's like the way to go.
I did a joke last night, and it was like I like to pick out guys like hipsters pick out antiques. I'm like, is this gonna be a good conversation piece?
That's funny.
And then then I like to take it out in public and see what everybody else says.
It's funny to think of it as the what is that? What do they call that? Like the metaphor of the conversation piece, because like you're talking about thrift. It's like a thrift kind of thing.
Yeah.
The piece, but one more creepy pickup I had was I was actually it was somebody from the crowd. I did my first show at it was a gay bar in Philly. There was like a lot of like, I remember like when I first started, there was a lot of like gay bars that were doing open mics.
Yeah.
Like it was tons of them. Yeah. And we did a show there, and it was a great show. There was a packed room, and it was like everybody was laughing and whatnot. I had probably like my best set ever at that moment. It was probably like not even a whole year in, but it was cool. And I get off stage, and Mizba and I were talking, and then like we were talking to Satoya, and then this dude came up to me and he just touched me on the shoulder. He was like, "Hey man, how you doing?" And I was just like, "Good." And he was just like, "Great set up there." And I was just like, "Thanks, man, thanks." And like I thought he was like a fan.
Yeah.
So I was like really into this.
You were like trying to get a picture with him.
Yeah.
And
I was like,
you were like, "Do you want an autograph?"
Yeah. I was like, what else
do people
do you
still
need
do
from
that?
me? Yeah. And he was just like, "Are you a free bird?" And I was like, "Oh." And Mizba was like, "Yeah, man, I'm gonna go to the bathroom." I was like, "Yeah." I was like, I was with him. I'm with him. He's like, "Oh, you two are together?" I was like, "Yep, we're together." And then he was like, "Oh, lucky man." And then he just walked away, and I was like, "Wow."
Yeah. How does it feel to get hit on by a man?
See, it was scary because I was afraid he was gonna throw a number at me, and like if he would have threw like a monetary amount at me, I probably would have went home with him.
Oh.
Like he was just like, "Hey man."
I like that that's where your mind goes.
It was
you
terrible,
were just
you know?
like,
I was broken up to
you're
be
like, "Oh crap, I didn't think about my price before I came out. Like what if it's just cuddling? Well, how much would I pay for just
That's
cuddling?"
what I'm saying,
like,
you know? I was like, man, I should have a price list or something, you know?
Yeah.
Just like to hang out with him. Like he'd take me out to eat, you know? Like
Yeah.
I'd be cool with an out to eat type thing, you know? Like,
it would have been great if you were just like, okay, $100 for cuddling, $200 for the night, you know? If you just spout that off, and you'd be like,
Yeah. I would have loved to explore all of his fine car collections and stuff. He was wearing very expensive stuff. He had a really nice watch on. I don't know. You know, anybody could have a shot.
So you
with
could have
me.
been a sugar baby, and
I was
ruined
down
it.
for it. I was definitely down for it. And it was like,
You didn't even know like the terms of the agreement. You just bailed before you could even get any more information.
yeah.
Gotta learn how
It's
to play
funny
the system.
if there was enough money involved, I would have came.
How much? Like what? $30, $40?
Ooh, I don't know. Yeah, right around there. You know, it was tough times.
Parking in the city is
I
expensive.
know. Yeah, if I could have got my parking back for that night, I probably would have been at that guy's house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like pay for these
smoking
2
hookah
drinks
or
and my
something.
parking,
Yeah.
and then we'll see where the night goes.
Yeah, it's just like the. I would have been there in the apartment, like, "Hey man, why does this cup look like it has soap in it?" Or Dahmer reference.
I didn't see that.
No, yeah, you're not missing.
I dated an actual murderer.
Really? So. You dated an actual murder? How do we not talk about that? What's the deal with that, huh?
No, it was. He wasn't.
He's a really good comic. No.
Yeah, his words, not mine. He killed.
Yeah.
No, it was an ex years after we broke up.
I was gonna say I didn't think. Yeah. I didn't think
the girl meets murderer, falls in love, doesn't get put on, a Netflix special for him.
It's like right. Netflix's mouth is watering when they get their hands on this. Tough Times 2
no
episode.
calls, no calls.
They're gonna come flying in because a couple Netflix execs watch this.
Oh yeah, I never even got called to court as like a character witness.
That's
I was
so
like,
crazy. That is so crazy.
I should have been, this was my time to shine, the victim, and
that would have been
sorry
cool.
for that. But
they would have picked like actresses to play you in like the reenactments.
I know, I could have done it. They could have used my commentary. I could have been on set.
It could have been so cool.
Yeah.
The actress would have been like, "Hey, I'm a method actor. I kind of want to chill with you for the day." She would have came to an open mic, just sat there with you.
Yeah, she'd be like, "This is what
this
her life is like now." Wow, no wonder she dated a murderer.
I see why this guy murdered all these people.
one person. I do have jokes about it.
He wasn't a serial killer.
No.
He killed at night. No. Breakfast. Oh, man.
No, he he killed one person, and I do joke about it because
Was
it
the
was
person
a long,
like a shitty person?
No, the
Were they
person was a good person.
I was like, man, if they were racist and they had plots to kill people, then like, okay, maybe he did like a Dexter type thing.
Yeah,
you know?
I could have respected that. I could have respected,
it
Dexter
as well.
Type of thing, but no, it
I
was his
respect
best
those
friend.
types of killers. Honestly, I see that in the news. I'm like, you know, a random stabbing. I'm like, well, was it random? Like, or did like this guy
Was he walking
to
too
his
slow on
family?
the sidewalk?
Yeah, you know, like
something
yeah,
respectable.
Was he doing something annoying? You know?
Yeah, no. It was only one person, but I have jokes about it. I've done like some material on it, and I know that it has been talked about like between other comics, not like in a bad way, because
I'm definitely going to talk about it with other comics.
I've gone to Mike's and people are like,
there she goes.
Oh, you're the one that's dating the serial killer, and I'm like, he killed one person.
I'm gonna be at the mics like, there she goes, the one that got away.
Yeah. How bad? Like, what was wrong with me that he was just like, no, not that one. That's not worth it.
She's already got it bad enough.
Right.
He came to an open mic. She's like, well.
He's like, honestly, killing her would put her out of her misery. We're just gonna, I'm gonna let her live.
She's suffering now.
Right. That's a worse fate than what I would do to her. That got dark.
Yeah. Right. Oh man. Well, let's see what time. Well. It's been great to have you on.
Ended on that?
Yeah.
Great to be here.
I feel like we're ending on a high note. I'll definitely have you on again sometime soon, you know.
Sounds good.
It's like the 5th episode. We'll aim for like the 30th.
Okay. I'll put it in my calendar.
The 32nd
32nd.
episode. That'll be your episode. We'll call it now.
All right. Episode 32.
It'll be a cool callback, you know.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks for watching Tough Times. You have anything you want to plug? You have anything coming up? I'll post this episode probably... What's today? Friday?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe tonight or tomorrow.
I have on the 16th. I'll be at Phantom Power for their comedy Halloween special, where I will be dressed up as a different comic and doing that material.
That's so cool.
I get to do.
That's exciting.
Good material.
That's very exciting.
So yeah, that's the next one. Check it out.
I might come to that. I might check that out. You should too.
Yeah, be there.
Welcome to our